Hi, I'm Laura Reese here at Yoga Sanctuary in Minneapolis, and today our one pose that we're going to explore is half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, I'm going to start over just because I felt so. I was like a little bit weird. Okay.
Ardha Chandrasana.
Ardha
And say
Chandrasana.
with like confident implosion.
Implosion? Okay. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Laura Reese at Yoga Sanctuary here in Minneapolis, and today we're going to explore one pose, and it's half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. And I chose to do half moon pose because it holds a very special place in my heart for two reasons. First, I couldn't do it for a really long time, and was always amazed at being in yoga classes and seeing people just easily float up into it, and feeling somebody who already felt strong and flexible and balanced didn't understand why I couldn't do it. And then after a lot of practice, I realized it's because I had a lot of weakness on the outside of my hips and a lot of tightness in my hip flexors with a lot of internal rotation. So we're going to explore opening up through your hips so that you can more easily get into that. The other reason I love half moon pose is because it's very expansive. And as somebody who struggles with circulation issues in my hands and feet, it's wonderful to be able to have this core of your energy and to be able to open out all the way out into all of your limbs, out through your fingertips, toes, and crown of your head. So for props, 2 blocks will be extremely helpful, and we're going to start off in hands and knees. So if you would like something to, a blanket or something else to cushion below your knees, you could do that as well. So you could slowly make your way down to your mats. And once here, I'll invite you to just kind of play through cat and cow a little bit. So you might inhale, lift your sternum, lift your tailbone as your belly slightly drops towards the earth. And then exhale, coming through neutral. And just rounding through your spine, perhaps dropping your head as you tuck your tailbone. And doing that following your own breath a couple times, just so that you can help open up, feeling this front and back movement of your pelvis. And as you flow really slowly, you might begin to tune into where your neutral is. So this part where your pelvis is neither, your tailbone is up towards the sky or it's not tucked. So that you can work from this pose, from this really centered and neutral place. And then as you feel ready, coming to your neutral position. And then from here, I'll invite you to press into your hands and ground strongly through your left leg, so pressing into the top of your left foot and your left knee, and then just open your right knee out to the side a little bit. So almost like a dog at a fire hydrant. You might just do that slowly a couple times, and what we're doing here is keeping your pelvis in a neutral position so that your hip bones, the front of your hip bones, stay facing the earth, and engaging in abduction. So you're using these muscles on your outer hips to abduct your thigh away from your body. And the next time your knee is out, you might just pause there for a moment. And if it feels appropriate in your body, you could even begin to rotate a little bit over to the right, just like you would going into a half moon. So maybe you come up on your right fingertips with a little bit more weight in your left hand. And then exhale, come back down. Find that neutral place, and then flow through your cat and cow or just anything else to help neutralize. We'll go and do that on the other side now. So pressing down evenly through both hands, pulling your navel in towards your spine, and then lifting that left knee out to the side just a little bit. And you might notice your pelvis staying really stable here. So perhaps if you're like me and have experienced a lot of weakness through that outer hip, maybe you only go a couple of inches, and know that that's okay, that we're here to strengthen. And the next time that knee is out to the side, just pause there. Feel that strength. And if you choose, you might even play with starting to rotate over to the left. So maybe you come up to your left fingertips so that your pelvis starts to open up a little bit. So there's so much going on in your hips and pelvis here, where you're abducting through that left side and you're externally rotating on that right side. And then inhale, coming back to center, and just flow through anything that helps you come back to this symmetry. So maybe that cat-cow, and then maybe exhale, push back to lengthen out into a child's pose. Then inhale, come back up, and then tap your left toes out to the side and straighten your right leg back behind you. So place your weight in your left hand and take a peek down and look and notice that your left hand, left knee, and right foot are all in line with one another. And then stack your shoulders one on top of the other and stack your hips. Take a moment here to place your right hand on your pelvis and see if your hips are moving back at all, and use the strength of activating your glutes to push yourself forward so you're extending a little bit through your hips. And then maybe you stay right here. Maybe this is enough work for you today, or you could lift that leg into a kneeling half moon. So here's your first half moon. This might be a wonderful place for you to stay and practice half moon and stay gaining strength in this outer hip and openness in your left inner hip. Good. Maybe you reach that arm up towards the sky, and then exhale, coming back down to the ground. Good. Doing anything to help you center, bring your energy towards your midline, and we'll go off to the other side. So tap your left toes back behind you, and then bring your right toes off to the side so that you're making a little kickstand. And then taking the time to notice your foundation, lining up your hand, knee, and your foot, and then coming up to stack your shoulders, stacking your hips. Good. So again, maybe you stay here, or if it's available to you and you choose, you could play with lifting that foot as you notice your pelvis in line with the rest of your body. Push actively through that heel, spreading your toes wide, and maybe even lifting your right hand up towards the sky. We'll take one more breath here. Just notice your gaze. Notice if it's best for you to look up, to extend that energy upward, or if it's better for your neck and shoulders, you could look forward or even down at that left thumb or your right thumb. Good. And then coming back to your neutral tabletop position, you might one more time inhale into a cow pose and exhale, rounding through your cat pose. So you could stay right here in this kneeling half moon if that is what is best for your body, or we'll explore a couple of other options. So the first option that I would like to show you is if you have a wall at home that's about as tall as your body, being able to do half moon up against the wall can be a very wonderful thing. So to get into it, I'll have you place your left hip so that it's right next to the wall. So your left hip, left shoulder at the wall, and then have two blocks, maybe at their highest height, just out in front of you so that you can reach down. So you might take an inhale, ground strongly through both feet, and then as you exhale, slightly bend in your knees and hinge at your hips, fold forward, keeping this long spine, and then bring your fingertips right to these blocks. Good. And from there, with slightly bent knees, you might slowly lift your right foot up off the mat so that it's parallel to the ground. And having the wall here, you can even begin to start using the wall for a little bit of a balance. So maybe you stay here and this is where you want to strengthen today, or if you want to play with going into half moon, you can open up more, bringing your right hand to your right hip, and then slowly turning your pelvis and rotating your rib cage so that your whole back is up against the wall. And maybe you stay here, or you could lift that right arm up into the sky. Good. Wherever you are, take a full cycle of breath here. Spread your toes wide, push through your heels, honor your strength and your openness, and feel this energy from your midline coming all the way out to the tips of your extremities. And then on your next exhale, slowly shift back towards your warrior three, and then bend into that left knee as you come and find a forward fold. So bend generously into both legs, can round through your spine, and then inhale to lengthen into a half lift, and slowly come up with a long spine. And we'll go to the other side. So you can take your blocks to the other side, so they're a couple feet away from your feet, and then feel your right hip really connected or really close to that wall. So again, you might inhale to feel even groundedness through both feet as you rise to the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, hinge at your hips, come forward with a long spine and allow your hands to find the blocks here. And then maybe you just tap your left toes back behind you, or you could slowly lift your left leg into a warrior three. So maybe this is where your body is asking you to stay today, and please honor that. Or you can slowly begin to open up through your pelvis and rotate your rib cage, using that wall as a wonderful place for a balance. And then lifting that left hand up towards the sky. Choose where your gaze is and take a breath just to enjoy this expansiveness and all of this work. And then as you exhale, slowly coming back into your warrior three, begin by bending into that right knee and then slowly come into just a little bit of a bent leg forward fold. Taking a breath here, allowing all of that energy that was expanded out to come back into your midline. Good, and then inhale into your halfway lift. Come find that long spine and then make your way up to standing. So I know at home, a lot of you may not have this whole big wall to use as a prop, but there's another way that we can use the wall by just putting one of your feet on the wall. So I'm gonna change and put my foot up against this wall now. And this takes a little bit of maneuvering to get into at first. So I'm just gonna kind of guess about the distance to the sole of my foot from the wall. So once again, bending, coming into a half lift with fingertips on the blocks. I'm gonna plant my right foot and then slowly place my left leg on the wall. So I need a little bit more room, so I'm just gonna inch myself forward. And so what I'm going for here is to have a place where my leg can be straight up against the wall and my spine is long. Good. So finding a place that feels comfortable here. Again, using the blocks, really pressing into that foot, and notice how that helps give you some more balance. And again, you could stay here, or if you want to explore, what you're gonna do is start by rotating externally through that left leg. So you're gonna turn your toes out to the left, and that's gonna open your pelvis, and then you can open up through your side body. Good. Maybe that hand reaches up, and then again, choose what's best with your gaze. So maybe you look up at your hand, or straight out, or take one more breath, looking down. Honor wherever you're at your path. And then we'll exhale into that forward fold again. So you can come bringing your shoulders square to the ground, bend into that knee, and slowly just take a breath here for you. Expanding and contracting. So inhale to lengthen into that half lift, and then lifting your right leg, finding that wall behind you. Making any adjustments that you might need. And then from this place, with your left hand on the block, you can bring your right hand to your right hip and then begin to externally rotate from that right hip, and as you turn your right hip out so that your toes are facing the side now instead of facing the floor. And then maybe you open up completely through your ribs so your shoulders are stacking. You can keep your hand on your side or again expand up and out. Good. Taking one more breath here. And then as you exhale, coming back down to the ground into your forward fold. Good. Inhale into your half lift, and then bring your hands to your knees and come all the way up to standing. Good. Thank you for exploring these variations of half moon with me today. As always, after going through all these, you can always engage in this pose without any props at all and just be free to play with wherever you're at. Thank you.